Alright, so the other day a couple new Persona 3 trailers dropped, and I don't think I could get any more excited for this game to come out. I'm not going to break them down frame by frame and super analyze them, but just sort of summarize them and give my thoughts on them. So the first trailer is narrated by Shinjiro, and shows all these different highlight moments like the Yakushima beach trip, Yukari trying to summon her persona, amongst others. If you played the original Persona 3 story, or The Journey as it's also known as, you were probably able to pinpoint where these cinematic moments take place, like I was. But that'd be getting into spoiler territory, and I don't want to get into it, just in case this will be someone's first experience with Persona, let alone Persona 3. Then after Shinji's monologue, we get Ikutsuki talking about Seize and asking the protagonist to join. But one thing we'll notice early on is that instead of wearing their normal school uniforms in most battles, Seize will instead be wearing specially made armor and uniforms. And instead of normal armbands like the original game, it seems to act more like a shoulder guard. It's so cool seeing him in this battle gear and wearing gloves like that. It makes Seize seem more professional to me. It's also a pretty neat way of having an extra and official uniform for full moon operations and Tartarus explorations, with the option given to switch them out with actual school uniforms and other costumes if so desired. Unlike the original game, where you would only be able to switch out the costumes if you collected it as a piece of armor, but they may not always have the best stats. But it seems like this game will take the Persona 5 approach of letting you switch them out freely with no repercussions. Then they show off some of the fighting gameplay, and oh boy. The all-out attack cutscene just seems so great with them rushing in, and it seems to employ the Persona 5 concept of the finisher image, which is a decision I'm okay with. They also tease the return of fusion spells by showing Jack-o'-lantern, or Pyrojack, and Jack Frost performing the Jack Brothers spell. One thing I think is funny though is it seems when fusing personas in the Velvet Room, Igor flings the components to fuse them into the protagonist's cognition essentially. But I'm really liking how everything is designed, from the world map of Tatsumi Port Island, Tartarus and beyond, and I really can't wait to explore when it comes out. Heck, I'm even liking the effect of the critical hit cut-in animation, appearing behind the characters in this and just shattering like glass. With the characters taking the center of focus in a way, compared to the original where the cut-in appeared in front of them. I just can't get over how great the reimagined 3D cutscenes look, and even some of the 2D ones that they showed. Now I'm going to talk about what was shown in the BGM trailer that Atlas also released. So the other trailer shows some similar stuff as the other trailer, but with extra battle stuff. In this, we're shown how clean the battle transition is, and I can't get over how great it looks. The Persona 5 one is pretty good too, but just something about the slash and seeing Makoto run like that, just perfect. Or the Persona submenu that shows off the characters' silhouettes with their signature evoker pose that they do when they're about to summon their persona. It's just so great to look at, and I really like how the team at Atlas designed the UI and all these neat aspects of this game. However, I will say even if this does end up being the definitive way to experience Persona 3, I do think one should play the original game first. Just because of how differently the remake seems to tackle these things, such as there being more MC and Seize moments and added or changed events, among others. I feel it could also help in appreciating some of the changes and additions that were made in this remake. But if you don't really care and just want to jump into this, then this probably won't be a bad way to experience the story of Persona 3 for the first time. It seems to be going out of its way to make sure that it still feels like Persona 3, but at the same time feel like a completely new experience. There's also Yumi Kawamura, who sadly won't be returning. Kawamura, who was the vocalist for most of the P3-oriented songs, such as the ones in both Persona Qs, both Persona 4 Arena games, Persona 3 Dancing, and so on. While she won't be returning, I am looking forward to seeing Azumi Takahashi's take on most of the classic songs, as well as some of the original songs made for this remake. However, I can't wait until Persona 3 Reload comes out February 2nd because based on what I've seen so far, it's definitely going to be quite the experience. Admittedly, I was in the camp that was weary about a Persona 3 remake because I didn't really think it needed to be remade that much. But even if someone doesn't end up enjoying this remake, It's still possible to enjoy the story of the original Persona 3 through the recent release of Persona 3 Portable for Switch, Xbox Game Pass, and PlayStation 4 and 5. But I do think all these neat little details and aspects will really help, if not replace it, which I don't know if it will, but at least stand alongside it. Not to mention the in-game models and UI just looking really nice and stylistic. And it seems like it's able to distinguish itself from Persona 5, the mainline title preceding this remake. Despite not having the fest content in the form of the Answer or Portable's Kotone, the price tag doesn't seem too bad because it does seem like there's a lot to experience in the base game. I mean, there'll probably be more DLC for the game beyond the costumes and BGMs that were recently announced. So that could either mean more of that, or even added story DLC like a remake of The Answer, or possibly adding Kotone and changing up her story for Makoto, but who knows. Especially since Atlas knows a lot of people will pay for it. I've already got the limited edition pre-order for the PS5. The biggest package for the English release is the iGuess box, and fittingly it comes with iGuess as well as the soundtrack, the Day 1 DLC, and an art book. However, the Japanese release comes with mostly the same things, with the exception of a Siege armband / shoulder pad in place of the iGuess figurine. Call me a shill if you want for being excited for this remake, but I'm just excited for more Persona 3 content and maybe have the chance to view it from a different lens and feel like I'm experiencing it for the first time. Eagerly waiting the February 2nd release next year in the meantime. And who knows, maybe Persona 1 and both 2s being remade might be closer to becoming a reality as well, if Persona 3 Reload does really well. So I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. But that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. For more gaming goodness, check out our other videos on GPX Japan, and until our next video, take care.